by biking across Canada and Ireland. And we were really inspired, and we decided that we should do something just as crazy or crazier. And so we decided that year we would bike from Halifax to Texas, and we had a few more beers and we committed to it. And unfortunately, we told a few friends, and they decided they wanted to come. And those friends told a few friends who also told a few friends. And before you knew it, we had 59 people registered to cycle with us from Halifax to Austin, Texas in the year 2007, I think. And we never set out to say this was going to be an organization. This was just going to be a one-time event. We were going to do it. We were going to raise money for cancer research, and we were going to, have a blast and try not to kill anybody. So we seem to have achieved all those goals. That year, we took 59 cyclists, and we thought that the right number of volunteers for that year would be one. So we took one volunteer and 59 cyclists, 11 minivans, and off we went from Halifax. We arrived safely in Austin, Texas, 17 days later. We had to, do a relay format in order to get everybody there, the 5,000 kilometers. And obviously we had such a blast and such a great time riding our bikes, meeting new people every day, seeing new places, and kind of acting like a kid that we knew that we had to do something the next year, which became annually. And since that time, we've hosted, this will be our 14th year, but because of COVID, it'll be our 13th bike ride. And we've gone from Vancouver to Austin, Texas twice. We've gone from Banff to Boulder, Ottawa to Halifax. We've done the circumference of Iceland. And along the way, that big ride kind of turned into an organization because we started to add other events to this. And what we have now is an organization that has raised close to $4 million for various charities, thanks to people like you guys. And we do it through putting on 4 marquee events. Our 4th one we just added this year, but the first one you're going to hear about tonight, Big Ride, it's in its 14th year, as I mentioned. Then we have a big swim, which you've probably heard of. It goes from New Brunswick to PEI along the Confederation Bridge every August. That event generally sells out. We take between 50 and 60 swimmers every year. And that event raises money for Brigadoon Village, an incredible world-class facility right here in Nova Scotia. And I think we've raised over $1.5 million for those guys. And then we have the Big Chill, which is coming up in Middleton, Nova Scotia in a couple of weeks. Awesome snowshoe event. You can do a 5, a 15, or a 30 kilometer. And that event has raised, I think, somewhere around $150,000 for the Lawrencetown Education Center, which is an experiential high school for kids that really can't adjust to traditional school. These are kids who may have single parents or no parents, or not quite the blessed lifestyle or upbringing that many of us have. And so this gives them an opportunity to get their high school diploma and go on to university or trade school or full-time employment. Incredible day. Hope you can join us down there. And then this year, given COVID and all the struggles that the food banks have had, we threw together an event called The Big Feed, and we were able to raise $25,000 by having people walk all over Halifax, Dartmouth, and Bedford and drop off canned goods and cash to food bank drop-off centers. So with that being said, I want to just say a very quick thank you to Tracy, who is our never-ending, tireless operations director. She keeps us on the straight and narrow. She's phenomenal. And then I want to welcome Mark and Doran, who are 3rd-year event directors for this. They've done the swim and participated in it. They've done the chill. They're huge Give to Live supporters. They're our event directors, and they put in a ton of volunteer time. So they're taken away from family and other things to organize this, and they really do the brunt of the work. If you're on the fence about this, I'll close by saying this. If you're on the fence, I've been making this promise for the better part of 10 years. Do the event, raise the money, and if you don't come up to me afterwards and say that it was worthwhile doing and that you don't regret it, I'll write you a check for whatever amount of money you raised. I've been off making that bet for 10 years. This is a lot of fun. It's a good group of people. We don't take ourselves seriously. We've been known to hide a beer in our backpack as we're biking. And we've been known to have a couple of beers once the biking is over, or maybe the night in between. So we have people on this call that are as young as 11 and 12 thinking about doing the call. And then I believe we have people in their 70s that are thinking about doing the ride or have done it already. And that's what we're all about, is inclusivity and fun, and it will be a good time. So with that said, I'll bounce it back to Tracy, who'll probably turn it over to Mark and Doran.
That's correct. We're actually going to, so the last thing there is, you can see we have a special thing called Give to Live Emmy Award, and that's for the keeners out there who like to do a lot of things in one year. And that's if you were to take on all 4 of our events in one year. There's a kind of a special award at the end of the year for you. So just for food for thought, if you're going for that, the Big Chill is coming up at the end of the month. So I'll leave it at that. And actually, we're going to take it over to Simone, if Simone got in there. And she's going to start with the Dalhousie Medical Research. Simone, are you here? Okay. Well, these were her slides. I'm not sure, Carla, if you are able to speak to them. I know you guys are close partners.
Sure, it might not be exactly what Simone was going to say, but between Jerry and I, I'm sure we can fill in some of the information that she was going to provide. So I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with the Dalhousie Medical Research Foundation. They are, as Tracy said, one of BHCRI's, Beatrice Hunter's funding partners. Actually, they're our main funding partner, and the institute is actually named after a substantial donor to the foundation, Beatrice Hunter. I have no idea what Simone's slides are anymore. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'll advance.
So yeah, Dalhousie Medical Research Foundation is, my gosh, 40 years old, 35 years old. It's actually a unique organization. They are, I think, the only foundation in Canada that is specifically dedicated to raising funds within a university. So they provide support to the 3 health faculties at Dalhousie, medicine, health, and dentistry. And they have different funding opportunities, and they raise funds for a variety of research that's happening at Dalhousie. It's not restricted to any particular field of research. Like I mentioned, they have been instrumental in supporting BHCRI for the last 10 years. Next. Oh, this is an easy one. They do definitely support cancer research, and it's through DMRF and through their third-party fundraising that you guys are able to support us, BHCRI. And we are incredibly thankful to DMRF for them doing that.
And that was just going to be some of the social handles. And then it's over to you, Carla.
Okay. Well, so I've already said a few things about the Institute. So yeah, Beatrice Hunter Cancer Research Institute is an official institute at Dal, but we actually serve cancer researchers in the Atlantic provinces. We currently have just over 150 members representing all fields of cancer research, from basic biomedical, clinical, population health, psychosocial, and they're spread over 12 institutions and 14 locations in Atlantic Canada. We support the cancer research community in a number of ways by promoting and supporting highly competitive research. We provide peer review to our researchers when they're applying for other funding. and we promote collaborative and interdisciplinary research. The biggest thing we do is help train and we equip the next generation of cancer researchers. And that's where you guys come in. The heart of our programs is the Cancer Research Training Program, which provides both a curriculum and financial support to graduate and postgraduate students who are undertaking cancer research. Through CRTP, the students have access to travel funds, which allows them to present their research findings at national and international conferences, as well as a unique program that's called the Skills Acquisition Program. The Skills Acquisition Program is an opportunity for students to apply to us for funds that will allow them to travel to another institution for an extended period of time, where they can learn new skills that aren't available to them either in the region or within their university. So BHCRI has been around officially since 2009, and since then 173 trainees have been part of the Cancer Research Training Program, many of whom are actually still engaged in cancer research, either as an academic, as a healthcare professional, or as a scientist in an industry setting. And these students have all contributed to the advancement of cancer in their respective fields through scientific publications, through TED presentations to the cancer research community. And the impact of their research studies can only be imagined at this point. Next. Through Give to Live, BHCRI has been able to provide financial stipends to 18 students who we otherwise would not have been able to support. This year, with the goal of fundraising $150,000, we will be able to support 4 graduate students with 2-year funding awards. What you guys do is so incredibly important to us, and we thank each and every one of you for taking on this challenge. I think the true impact of what you're doing can best be summed up from those who are benefiting from your efforts. And in this case, that's the students. Next. On behalf of them, on behalf of everybody at BHCRI, we thank you most sincerely.
Okay, Mark or Doran. Thank you, Carla.
Thanks, Carla, and thanks, Tracy. I presume everyone can hear me, and I want to first apologize for my video. I tried to put up a picture of the ride we did a couple of years ago, but it kind of looks like I fell off the cliff as I was climbing up the Stelvio Pass here because I'm not really visible. So Todd indicated that we've done a number of rides through the Give to Live Foundation, and we just wanted to highlight here a couple of things. One, of course, is the amount of money that was raised and over the last 13 years, including unfortunately the one that was canceled last year due to COVID, but you can see a total of $1.8 million. The other thing that this kind of indicates is, this is not our first ride, not our first rodeo. We've done this many times, and we've done it in many different formats. We've done it as individuals, kind of cycling alone or in groups. We've done it as relay teams going around Iceland. We've done it as teams as well, and we've done it as just kind of individuals. So we've done very many different formats, and we've done it probably from as low as 15 or 16 people to, I'm not sure, Todd, if we've ever had as many as 100, but I know we've been near that number in some of those rides. So, we can accommodate a small group, big group. Hopefully this year we'll be somewhere in the middle of all of that. So we have lots of experience, and we will put that to good use this year. So this year, I'm calling it the 2021 Big Short ride, because it's probably one of the smaller distances we've done over the years. It's going to be about 200 kilometers over 2 days, being June 26th and 27th. For those of you that don't have your calendar in front of you, that is a Saturday and a Sunday. Because of COVID, of course, we're going to stay in Nova Scotia so that we can abide by any potential restrictions that COVID may still be with us come June. But we also think that staying in Nova Scotia, it's going to, and the fact that it's going to be 2 days as opposed to, some of the rides have been as long as a week or longer, depending on where we went. But the fact that it's 2 days, the fact that it's going to be in Nova Scotia, we hope that it's going to be a lot more inclusive, and that people will find the time so that they're not taking time off work, they're not having to travel away for a long distance to get to the start line and to do the ride. And so we're hoping that we'll have not just individuals, but we'll probably have some couples who want to do it, and probably even some families who will want to join us as well. The ride is essentially going to be along the rails to trails. We're going to start at Old Ashburn Golf Course in Halifax, so people will find their way to the golf course, either ride their bike or get dropped off, or whatever suits them. We'll probably leave sometime around, I'm thinking early to mid-morning, probably sometime around 9 o'clock, but we'll confirm that. It's, as you can see on the map, it says 93 kilometers. Some people may, of course, want to, just to get to the century mark, find a little kind of bypass to get their total to 100 for the day. For those of you who cycled on the rails to trails, it's all gravel, it's easy cycling. It's essentially flat. I mean, I think the maximum grade on any of the trails is probably 2 or 3% at the most, but it's essentially a very, very flat route all along the way. We will, and we're going to organize it as individuals. We're not going to put teams together as we have done in the past for certain rides. So we're not going to try to get 4 or 5 people and say you 4 or 5 people stay together. We're going to do it all as individuals. Obviously, if people want to cycle with their friends or their family, that's going to work out just fine. But essentially, we're going to allow people to do the route on their own, at their own pace, at their own leisure. You can see some of the pictures here that of the trail. You can see, and for those of you who haven't done it, it's very scenic. There's lots of places to stop and have a rest and take pictures and grab a snack and so on and so forth. We are going to, along the route, have some organized stops, probably 2, not exactly sure where, but probably somewhere around the Bike and Bean in Tantallon, and probably one somewhere in between there and Old Orchard Inn. It'll probably be somewhere around Hubbard's or between Hubbard's and Chester. And we will have van support, of course, somewhere between 1 and 11 vans, I think, Todd, we'll have, probably 2 or 3, I'm thinking, to provide support in the event that people need it. The vans will also be carrying any overnight bags that that people need just for the one night stay at Oak Island. So people will pack just a backpack or an overnight bag, and the vans will provide transportation for that to Oak Island. Registration fee is $149, and $149 gets you all the support along the way. It gets you the snacks and water and whatnot at the pit stops. Gets you dinner the night that we are going to spend together, and breakfast the next morning. So it's essentially it's a cost recovery for us just to cover those costs. Minimum fundraising is $1,500 per individual, and we think that's very attainable. We've had people in the past who have raised in excess of that many times over. Obviously, by the totals that we have, you can see that we've easily accomplished our goals. Hoping to get to $150,000, and we don't think that's a stretch by any means. Everyone is responsible for their own room at Oak Island Inn. We have a 50 room block already set aside for us. Everyone is responsible for booking their own room. So if you and your partner or spouse or whoever, or 2 people want to share a room, that's up to you. But we have a special rate. I think, Tracy, it's $160 for the night for the room.
Mm-hmm.
But people have to, Yeah, but once people register, we'll ensure that they know that they have to book their own room and have to make the phone call themselves to guarantee their room. And of course, the next step is to have everyone get in and register at givetolive.ca, the big ride. And we're hoping, while we have booked 50 rooms, we're hoping to get somewhere in the vicinity of 100 riders for this ride this year. We don't really have a maximum. Logistically, I think once we get past 100 or 150, 125, it's going to be logistically difficult, primarily for accommodations than anything else. There's no real restriction in terms of the trail and those things. So we'll go as hard as we can until we get to a good number. So Doran, I'm not sure if you have anything to add, or Todd.
Yeah, I'll jump in, Mark, and just say thank you again to you and Doran for doing all the work. But one thing that's really important to us is the percentage of money that you raise as riders that we actually donate to the cause. And 12 or 13 years ago, when we started out, that was a part of our mission, was to make sure we weren't spending a lot of this money on things that weren't going right to the cause. And I think that year we came in around 78%. And we always decided as an organization we'd strive to do better. And we're now routinely achieving 93, 95, 98% of the money that you raise will be donated. And that's because of your registration fee and booking your own room. But also this year we have some incredible generosity from some sponsors. Normally in a good year, we raise about $30,000 to $40,000 in sponsorships, and that helps cover all the costs. This year, I think we're trending closer to 50. So I feel very good that we will be achieving a 95 minimum expense ratio and probably closer to 100. So I feel very confident saying close to 100%, if not 100% of the money you raise will go right to the cause. And one of our sponsors, Mark Rideout, is on the call from Maritimes and Northeast Pipeline. So thank you, Mark. And also Doran and Mark, they'd never tell you, but their company sponsors it as well. So we're well on our way to continuing that goal.
Excellent.
The only thing I'll add is this ride, all our rides, the focus is safety, but I really feel that some people were hesitant in the past to do the rides because we were riding on the road. Well, this year we're on the trail. So I really hope that, the people on this call help promote the event, and it's on the trails. It's going to be safe and fun. And like Todd was saying, I think everyone will come back on Sunday afternoon and say, oh, that was just a blast. Doing good stuff and having fun couldn't be anything better.
The only other thing I would add. Sorry, go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, we've done very complex rides, and we do put a very big emphasis on training and safety. So for people out there that are new cyclists, we'll pair you up with somebody that's done a bunch of these, and they'll help train you or make sure you don't get injured and make sure you don't get hurt. We'll do some group rides when the weather lets up and kind of teach everybody the basics of riding safely. But as far as riding on a trail, there's really no safer place to be. So.
And the only other comment I would make is during the entire ride, both to and from Oak Island, is that we will provide what we call a sweep rider at the very back of the group, so that the sweep rider will always be the last person in the line or in the group ride, just to ensure that no one gets stuck behind with a flat tire or a broken spoke or whatever. That person will be there to ensure that everyone gets to the finish line one way or the other.
Great. Okay, so our final thing is we just had a short little video that we were going to show. that's just a fun little promo video. You'll see that's going to get posted on our social media in the next day or so. And anybody that you're looking to promote and recruit to come along with you, feel free to share that along. It kind of sums things up in about 60 seconds. So I think we can start our Q&As and see if anybody has any questions that they wanted to ask. Still there?
A question.
Go ahead.
Assuming that the Atlantic bubble is still a bubble, can people from Atlantic Canada participate in this, or is this just for people in Nova Scotia already? Or hard to answer at this point?
So we are committed to upholding any public health rules that are in place. So we may get into a situation where the Atlantic bubble opens back up, and then it may close back down. So we'll have to accept those registrations, and then at the for the actual weekend that it's happening, if those rules were to change, we would have to have the folks adhere to those rules. So if it requires quarantining or whatever that is, there'll have to be a little bit of planning ahead. So I would say probably about 2 weeks out, we'd have to make that final call. Anything else to add, Doran, Mark, Todd?
No, good here, Trace.
Yeah, it's good. And we've had people from many parts of the world participate. When we went to Europe, we had a guy from Texas, and I think when we went to Iceland, we had people from Ireland, and you name it. So we're very open to having people from wherever participate. But as Tracy indicated, we all obviously have to follow whatever the protocols are at the time in terms of allowing people to participate. But
yeah, just trying to. Obviously we're going to advertise it within the BHCRI network, but I guess cautiously, if anybody from outside of Nova Scotia wanted to participate, they would have to, obviously keep all of that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we're in a pretty good spot here. I think people outside of our province are even more aware of those restrictions than we are. So before they made their final decision, I'm sure they think pretty hard on that. We'd love to have everybody, but it may just be more complicated for them this year.
Well, listen, I'll say I'll kind of wrap up on behalf of Give to Live and the board, and Angie is our
Todd, we have a question. Todd, I think Marco's got his hand up. You can't see it.
Oh,
He's got a literal, one of those virtual ones.
love it. Hey, Marco.
Thanks. I just wondering for like in addition to the riders, what about volunteers? Like, how many do you need? What's the process for volunteers?
Mark, Doran, you want to take that?
Sure. I think maybe I'll take a stab at it. The number of volunteers that we need will depend on how many riders we have and how much support we need. What we're thinking, if we're going to get 50 riders, we'll probably have 2 or 3 support vans with 2 people in each one. But if we get 100, then we'll probably need a couple more vans. Is Christine looking to volunteer again? She did such a good job when we're in Europe. That's what it is, isn't it?
She is thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think right now we're taking kind of expressions of interest, and we have a few people who are already, I think, who are coming back from last year. But Christine, if you're interested, I would just say, put your name in, and we'd love to have you.
Okay, sounds great.
And Tanis is coordinating volunteers again. So.
Yeah, and Mark, that Judy and I are on for this as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And Carla, are you going to ride?
Carla?
What? What was that? What?
You're on mute, Carol.
I'll know by the end of the week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right,
There you go.
okay.
You know, one of the things I'd say about this ride is that to me, it's you know, some people would say it's challenging and some people would say it's easy. And we're hoping that we're going to cater to everyone in the middle of that group. You know, that, you know, for someone who doesn't do a lot of riding, it would be a challenge, but it's definitely something that anyone who puts their mind to, I believe, can do. And for those who think it's easy because they're used to doing 200 kilometers a day in hilly routes, well, just go do a few more kilometers around the block and make it a challenging day. So yeah, we're hoping to bring a lot of new people into the group as a result of this.
Is there any other questions? Quiet group. Not used to that.
Hi, Kaylin. Give us a wave, Kaylin. Look, everybody, thank you very much. This is the year we go over $4 million raised for various charities. I'm certain of it. And on the note about cancer, I doubt there's anybody on this call that hasn't been affected. We're all living through COVID right now. It's killed 2 million people around the world. Cancer is an illness that kills 8 million people every year. So there's a 98, 99% chance that one of the 4 people you love the most is going to get cancer. But the research is working. The lifespan is getting longer and longer for people that are afflicted with it. The support and research and programming for people surviving it is getting better. And this money does make a difference. My wife and I and many members of the board have toured the research center at Dow, and it is world class. Jerry, who's on the call, is very instrumental in the founding and the running of that organization. It is world class and is run by world class people. This is not money that's just going into some pot of cancer research that nobody knows where it goes. These are really, really bright people. We've been over there and it is mind blowing. So rest assured, your money will be put to good, very, very good use. So with that said, apologies for the technical difficulties. We're better at organizing bike rides than we are technology. We're more like outdoor people. So anyways, look forward to riding with you, ride out, especially you. I can see you right now, so can't wait. You and Waylon on a tandem bike is gonna be hilarious. And look, we're gonna have some fun. So I'm gonna sign off and say thank you to everybody.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks, Tracy, for organizing.
If you have
Thank
any
you, everybody.
questions, just
Take
let us
care.
know. Big
Bye-bye.
Ride Director at GiveToLive.ca. We're here.
Thanks for the info.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.